Can't believe I'm pulling everything back out of my van again. It's only been about a month at this point, but it's gotta happen. I'm pretty excited. We've already got all the wood, ran to Home Depot, all stocked up. We should be good to go. I'm looking forward to getting this done. Ron, you excited about this?
I am.
Yeah. This is Ron, by the way.
Hey.
Some of you guys, I know some of you guys know him, but Ron in an RV.
It was Ron in the van, now an RV.
All right,
and Ron will be homeless here pretty soon.
That's true. He's selling the house in like a little bit, so
yep.
We're getting everything out. It's kind of a crazy place, but looking forward to getting started here. Slate again here. Like I said in the last video, I have pretty much everything planned out, everything's pictured, all the 2x4s we have purchased, so now it's just a matter of kind of assembling everything, getting everything cut, using different saws. Ron's helping me out a lot. He's actually cutting right now. You can hear the saw going in the background, so he's cutting up some wood. I'm over here doing measurements and leveling everything and trying to get it ready to go, and we'll see how it goes. The first step is to make the bed, then we're going to move to the counter. I'm running the sander right now on the Kodiak. It's pretty awesome. So it turns out the dimensions from that sketch that I showed in the last video were not even remotely close to accurate. It was from Europe, the original design of the NV200 in SketchUp, so I had to convert from millimeters to inches, and I think something might have got messed up in there. So everything's like a couple of inches less than I thought it was going to be. I have a little bit less space to work with than I was thinking when I was using that design, and I don't know, it seems to be working out okay though. We're definitely making progress here. This is the bed, the foundation for the bed here. I think I've gotten used to the temperate climate in San Francisco. It's so mild and so nice all the time. Out here, it gets a lot hotter. It's almost like 100 degrees today. I'm like dying right now. Been so much easier with two people working on it instead of just one. Like, we're like tag teaming things. We got Ron drilling pilot holes and I'm coming in and cleaning up with the screws and everything like that. It's moving a lot faster than I thought. Think it's strong enough? Oh yeah.
You weigh what, 110? I weigh 200. Let me sit on it.
Yeah, go for it. The thing we're sitting on here is the base of the couch, and it's also a big part of the bed as well. And we're testing it out to see if it can kind of hold a lot of weight, and I think it'll do the trick. What do you think?
I think so. And we got the air holes, so.
Yeah, got the air holes for ventilation that we drilled. I'm gonna paint over it and sand it all down, but one step's done, moving on to the next one now.
Yep.
So we're about to start building the foundation for the counter space that's gonna go up against this wall here. And the biggest thing is trying to figure out where I can put the guitar. There's really not too many places. I won't be able to put it up against the wall, for one, because the wall mount completely failed and fell apart after about a month, but for two, because I'm gonna have the backrest for the couch going up there when the bed is in couch mode. So this is pretty much the only place I can put it, and it is just barely gonna fit here when the bed is fully extended in bed mode. It's just a really awkward shaped thing, and it's kind of a pain to deal with. So it's the next morning now, and it doesn't really look like we've done much an entire day of work. We started yesterday probably around midday, and we were working until about 9 o'clock yesterday evening. But we have made quite a bit of progress. This is like the template here for the countertop area, and then the bed is also done, at least the main support for the bed. Basically, the main support of the bed, which is right here behind me, is based on a 24-inch by 75-inch piece of plywood. We cut around the edges so that it fits nicely to the contours of the van and fits up nice and snug. and then there's a ledge that's created alongside, and that ledge is going to rest another piece of wood, which is going to be the, I guess, the other side of the bed for the most part. And I'm actually going to use 2 pieces of wood like that. One of them is going to double as a 40-inch wide table with folding legs under it. I'm going to put folding legs on it. I really wanted to have a table that I could move around inside the van, use as a desk station anywhere where I'm sitting on the couch, also be able to take it outside and use it outside while I'm camping and things like that. So the idea is to make a custom table essentially that's going to have folding legs under it that I can use anywhere, and then it'll also double as a main support for the bed. It's going to rest on this ledge that we created. The problem is that yesterday we created this ledge here and we accidentally cut it in the wrong place. So now we have to redo the plywood. It kind of damaged the plywood. You can see as you go along the edge here, we were using a router to cut it and it kind of messed up the plywood a little bit. So we have to kind of restart this morning, but it's an early morning. It's a beautiful day and we're gonna get started on it. So we're making quite a bit of progress here. Basically have the countertop area done, the bed, at least the main portion of the bed is done. I'm just kind of at the point now where we're adding this little thin wooden trim on here to make it look a little bit nicer overall. I'd say day 2 has been a success so far. Definitely made some progress. The counter space is pretty much done. I do need to take it out, sand it down. I'm also thinking about probably staining it with like a light stain or something like that to kind of match the countertop, but nothing really too crazy. I mean, in terms of the actual build, I mean, it's pretty much the way that it's gonna look, at least for now. And then the bed is done as well. The mattress is the biggest problem at this point, I think. You know, this mattress is my old one. It fits in here really nicely, but it doesn't really fold into couch mode very well. It's a real struggle because it's a memory foam mattress. It's just not meant to do that. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do here. I think I need to get like a twin size futon mattress or maybe something bigger. I mean, it is technically 42 inches, so I have 4 extra inches to work with. If I can make something custom that really fits nicely up against the wall and then would go the entire length of the bed that I designed here, that would be the best situation, but it's kind of hard to do that. Custom mattresses are pretty expensive. I've done some research on them and I'm not really 100% sure. Otherwise though, like I said, I mean, the build itself, I think that the main core of it all is done, and now it's just kind of touching everything up and making it look pretty, I guess. It's day 3 now, although technically I guess we finished the build yesterday in 2 days, but this morning I ran over to Home Depot, decided to go with paint instead of stain, and the first thing this morning, the first thing I did was paint everything. So it's all painted. I decided to go with like a grayish light blue type color, something kind of light, not quite white, but somewhere in between white and gray with a little bit of blue. I don't know, we'll see how it looks. I haven't actually moved it in here yet. Been waiting all day for it to dry, but it's been like 100 degrees today again, or 90 degrees or so. It's really hot out, so I think we're probably good to go. It's time to start moving everything back in. It's a pretty simple build overall, really nothing too crazy, pretty much just 2 pieces of furniture at this point. I think it might actually be simpler than my last build with the Murphy bed. The countertop area is the first piece of furniture. It's got shelving underneath. The shelves are specifically designed to fit the baskets that I already have. I kind of custom designed them, and the Instant Pot goes nicely underneath, and I got a little area over here for food and everything like that. And the countertop itself is actually made from an extra piece of wood that Ron had in one of his closets. It was actually just like a shelving piece in one of his closets, and I think before that he said he was using this type of material at his donut shop as the countertop in his donut shop. So it's really easy to clean, really easy to wipe down. And the other piece of furniture here is obviously the bed. I talked about that a little bit yesterday. And then there's obviously the 2 pieces that go to extend the bed, one of which will act as a fold down table. Okay, so I have 2 pieces of pretty good news and 1 piece of pretty bad news. But the two pieces of good news, the first one is that I was able to fit everything under the bed really nicely. There's plenty of storage space under there. I think I'm actually going to pick up another one of those wooden crates and be able to put my extra clothes in there, maybe my sweatshirts, things like that. So I'm going to get one more of those. I have enough space to fit another one. And then the second piece of good news might be like the best news ever. I was able to take my old mattress that I was using with the Murphy bed setup, and I opened it up last night and decided to cut along the seam. I measured the width of the bench, and then I kind of was able to cut along it so that it makes this little backrest, and it folds relatively well here. It's actually working pretty well. Obviously, the fitted cover for it doesn't fit perfectly. When it's folded, it kind of leaves a little bit of a gap, but when you're sitting on it, it's pretty hard to notice, and I think I might be able to get away with this, at least for a little while, you know, and just give it a try, sleep on it, see if it affects how it is to sleep on it. But I think it's going to be pretty good, guys. I think that this might work out. But the bad news, though, moving on to the bad news, that folding table setup idea that I had, I don't know if it's going to work. Because of the way that the mattress slightly overhangs the edge of the bench here, I don't know if there is going to be enough space for me to put legs on this thing and actually make it into a functioning table. I don't know if I'm going to be able to open it up in here because of the space that I have. I guess I didn't really think about how that would work out in hindsight. Pretty much ready to hit the road at this point. Spent the whole morning touching a few things up here and there, just kind of adding those tracks underneath the bed and putting some paint in little places that were missing paint and little things like that. Last night, Ron and I were able to fix the desk problem that I was having. It's not going to work as a folding table, unfortunately. I'm not going to be able to put legs on it and use it outside like I originally thought, but we did build a sliding track using drawer slides on the bottom, on the underside of the countertop here, and then created a surface upon which I can put that extra piece of wood so that it doubles as a large desk, a large table area, and it works really well. We added wood underneath it to kind of keep it so it was braced on top of the drawer slides there, and it doesn't move around. It's really, really sturdy. I think this is going to be pretty solid here, and I really like the fact that it doubles as both a table and a support for the bed. And then I have one other support for the bed in the front. It's a little bit smaller. That stores really nicely behind the couch here on the back. Behind the couch, you can't even see it. It's not even in view when you're looking at the couch when it's set up. So that's pretty nice. It's lightweight. I can take it. It has folding legs on it. I actually reused the 500-pound hinges that I had for that little countertop area that swung off the side in my old setup, and I was able to reuse those, and it works well as the front support for the bed. Two pieces instead of just the Murphy bed. It is a little bit harder than the Murphy bed was, but I think overall the setup and the breakdown process for this bed is even easier than it was for me in the Element. It's somewhere between the Murphy bed and the Element. I think it's going to be pretty good. Overall, I am really excited about this new setup here, guys. It is a lot more open than the old one. I think that it's just going to work out better for me in the long run, and I'm able to fit everything that I own in here, even though I do have a little bit less storage space than I had in the previous configuration. I was able to fit everything I own really comfortably. Bought a couple of crates for my clothes to store underneath the bed, and that's like a little drawer setup like I was talking about earlier in this video, and I think it's pretty nice. And I even have room to expand my storage along the ceiling as well. I know I mentioned that in the previous video and maybe a little bit even in this one, because I was thinking about installing a drop-down cabinet system coming from where GTRV installed the support for the upstairs bunk, I guess you could say. But I decided against doing that just because I don't really have enough things to put in it right now. But if I ever need to expand my storage, that option is still there, and I was able to reuse a lot of the materials that I had in the previous configuration. Some of it I couldn't fit in here, I couldn't work with, so I'm gonna have to get rid of it, but it's been really nice being able to reuse the bed as well. I don't know how long this is gonna last, if I'm gonna be able to do this forever like I said earlier in the video, but at least in the meantime, I think that this is gonna work out pretty well. And I ended up spending just over $150 to make the upgrade from the previous setup to this one here, and some of the parts, you know, obviously Ron had them lying around like the countertop, and then I was able to reuse, like I just said, quite a bit of what I already had, but not too expensive. I'm pretty okay with spending that amount of money, about $150 to upgrade this space and to make it to something that I think is going to be a lot better for me. Ron, Linda, thank you guys so much for hosting me here the past few days and for allowing me to build out the van and put all my stuff in the garage and everything like that. Like I said earlier in the video, they are moving. They're in the process of selling this house and moving everything out, so having all my stuff in there definitely didn't make things any easier, and there's no way that I would have been able to get this build done in 2 days if it weren't for having Ron's help and having him as a second hand to be able to help me out with everything. I mean, there's no way I would have been able to do this as quickly as I did. So I'm very grateful for them, and I can't thank you guys enough for what you did for me. I'm really excited about the new build. I'm looking forward to giving it a try. I'm also really looking forward to heading out of the Central Valley where I am right now and going to the coast where it's a lot cooler. It is about 100 degrees here right now. I'm sure you can tell I am sweating like crazy. I was sweating like crazy when I was back there shooting the video. I literally had to move to the front seat and put the air conditioning on because it's too hot outside and it's too hot in the van to shoot this last closing clip here. But I'm looking forward to getting back to San Francisco. I'm going to head there probably tomorrow. I'm waiting for a package to arrive. It should be here later this evening. Then I'm going to kind of relax and hang out with Ron and Linda for one more night and make my way back towards the city. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you all in the next video.